I was saying to my girlfriend earlier, I only had some soup for lunch, and she asked me, it's not very much, are you still hungry? I said, no, it's fine. I had a roll with it. Hello there and welcome back to Brew Report, where this week we're back to making terrible puns. But we're also trying a double dry hopped pale ale, a limited edition beer from Vocation. Roll with it. Just to explain what's going on with the pile of yellow stuff, by the way, Chico has a new blanket and being the princess that he is, he's refusing to leave the sofa. You're doing okay. Let's take a start by looking at the packaging of the can here. Now, if we think back to some of our other beer reviews we've done with Vocation, their can art can vary in terms of the colours and the pattern, but it has a very distinct style, a distinctly Vocation style. This particular can does not. This is a double dry hopped pale ale. It's hopped with Amarillo and Citra hops, and the label here describes it as having super juicy hops and a pillowy, soft mouthfeel. It's hazy, it's hoppy, it's soft. It's 5.2% alcohol by volume, which is a little bit on the low side for a double dry hopped offering, but you know what? I'm not opposed to that. I quite enjoy the fact that this is going to be something that's a bit hoppier, it's very floral, very aromatic, but also not going to blow my head off in terms of the alcohol content. So that's a nice little balance there. So the aroma is interesting because it's a mix of different aromas that, for me, evoke very particular memories, and your mileage is likely to vary on this. So for starters, there's the apple, there's the lemon, there's the grapefruit. These are all great aromas, and these play together beautifully. But there's a touch of lemongrass in the mix there. Now, for many, that will be fantastic. That's sort of spicy, it's sort of aromatic, it's quite fun. For me, having grown up in a household with medical professionals, it reminds me of disinfectant, and that's maybe less pleasant, but that's based on that very particular personal experience, and unless you've had a very similar upbringing to me, then that may well be very different for you. So on the whole, decent aroma, and I suspect for other people they're going to enjoy it more without that connotation. The palate, on the tongue, the flavours here are apple juice, cloudy apple juice, more of that lemongrass. It's nicer on the palate, you don't get that disinfectant note from it there, along with lemon, a little bit of orange juice, a little bit perhaps of pineapple in the mix there as well. The flavours aren't overwhelmingly strong. What really characterises this beer is the mouthfeel. It really is pillowy soft, and when the beer label goes on about it being so smooth, that's absolutely right. This is probably the defining characteristic of this beer, is its mouthfeel, the texture, as opposed to the aroma or the flavour. Towards the finish, I'm picking up more malt. There's an element of that biscuit malt coming in towards the end, or very pale malt towards the end. But the finish itself, beyond that, once you've actually swallowed it, it's very clipped. There's not a huge aftertaste on this one. It sort of ends very, very rapidly. So let's talk a little bit about value. This, as I mentioned, it's from Vocation. It's part of a collaboration. It's a sort of limited edition beer that they're running with Tesco. As you would expect, given it's at Tesco, this is pretty cheap. If you want to buy a single can of this from the chilled aisle, you can get that for £2.40 without any special offers on. If you were to go for a 4-pack, and bearing in mind those tend not to be chilled, then you're looking at £8 for 4, so just £2 of beer, which I'd say is pretty great value. This isn't a mind-bendingly, earth-shatteringly good beer, but it's not bad. And for £2 a can, you could do a lot worse. Conversely, if you were at a craft beer shop, you could absolutely do a lot better. And if you're limited by the number of beers that you want to drink in an evening rather than your price point, then you've absolutely got much better options available, even if you're sticking with Vocation and going for some of their other special beers rather than the stuff that they got on specifically with Tesco. But that's about enough from me. What I want to hear now is, what did you think? Have you tried Roll With It Pale Ale, or are you holding off for something a little bit more bespoke outside of the supermarket shelves? Whatever your thoughts, let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, do give it a like. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel. And of course, as always, you'll find fresh content every week on brewreport.co.uk. And until next week, happy drinking.